Okay, so number 5, embrace failure. And this one is absolutely critical. If you want to be present, if you want to be lucky, and if you want to stay in the moment and you want to perform to your potential, you have to embrace failure. Too many people think the path to success goes around failure, but it actually goes straight through failure every single time. At least for us, it does. It's part of the creative process. And that's a scary thing. Very scary thing, especially for wedding photographers, right? We've got one chance, one day to capture their day. And so we fear failure more than anything else. One of the biggest mistakes we can make showing up on a wedding day is fearing that we'll make one, because we are going to make them. We're going to make so many mistakes, just like buying a lottery ticket, you know? When when I pick up my camera and I put the camera to my eye, I've got infinite possibilities for failure and I've got a few possibilities for success. So it's not a matter of if I fail, it's a matter of when I fail, right? So we fail often, we fail spectacularly. It's all part of the creative process. And the key here is not how often you fail or how spectacularly you fail, it's how quickly you're able to bounce back, right? Because all of these images that I'm showing you, all these failures were taken during the first dance, and there's 80 more that I haven't shown you to try and get this one, right? The persistence of working through that failure led to this shot, led to the success of this shot. And here it is toned for maximum visual impact. All these failures were taken in order to get this photo. Persistence is the mother of good luck. This was only possible not because we weren't afraid to fail, because we were afraid to fail, but we did it anyways. And we were stubborn enough not to give up on something that we believed in.
Yeah. And if you think about it, everything in the history of awesomeness was at one point a long shot, right? And embracing failure, it's easy to say, it's not easy to do. Believe me, at a wedding, when I miss a shot, it's like the apocalypse is
You
coming
do
down.
not want to be near
Okay.
Lenny.
And that stems from the pressure, right? It's like we put all this pressure on ourselves. And I'm nervous before every wedding. Honestly, I'm more nervous before a wedding than I was before any race that I ever ran or any fire that I ever fought. And it's like I'm paranoid I'm not going to live up to expectations. Usually my own entirely unrealistic expectations.
Yeah,
But
I'm paranoid. I'm not going to live up to his expectations either.
or yours, or
Yeah,
the clients.
but yours are the worst.
But I mean, but that pressure that we feel it's inevitable. If you care, you're going to feel that pressure. And that pressure is required in any environment where high performance is expected. It's an inherent part of our human journey of growth. And whether you're a photographer or a firefighter or an athlete or a parent, one thing that unites us all is pressure. Erica's dad, the sports psychologist, was telling us this story about a high school basketball coach. One of his student athletes was really struggling to cope with the pressure. He had a scholarship. I think he just lost his father the previous year. Coach, I'm under so much pressure. And so the coach wanted to teach him a lesson about pressure. So they went down to the court to shoot hoops one day. They picked up like a Spalding basketball, and the coach bounced it over to the kid and said, "How's this? Is this ball going to work?" So the kid bounced the ball and said, "Yeah, coach, this ball's great." So then the coach took the ball and punctured it with a penknife, and then flopped it back over to the kid and said, "How about now? Is this ball going to work?" Kid said, "No, coach, it's not going to work." "Well, how come?" "Because there's no pressure." Coach said, "That's right. No pressure, no bounce." It's the pressure that gives us our bounce, okay? It's the pressure that gives us the energy that we need to get the job done, okay?
And Nanny and I actually noticed that the weddings where we had the highest amount of pressure, whether it was with the clients or just the timeline, or
For whatever
10-minute
reason, we
10-minute
felt
portrait
extra pressure.
sessions, they tend to be the weddings where we perform the best.
Yeah. Um, And so, you know, I hope we never lose those butterflies
Yeah.
that we feel before every wedding, because we need those butterflies. Okay, that's what's going to get us through. Okay, it's like what my track coach used to say is we just gotta get those butterflies to fly in formation. Okay, get that energy working for us. Okay. A great example of that pressure at Ryan and Tatiana Berneiser's wedding, we felt a tremendous. I mean, we photograph a lot of photographers' weddings, and that's, you know, a heightened sense of pressure. But and with Ryan and Tatiana, that pressure didn't come from them at all. They were just, you guys do your thing. You know, if we get one shot that we love, we're happy.
It might have come from the 90 photographers on their guest list,
Exactly.
although they weren't putting any pressure on us.
But it
just
was that self-perceived, right?
self-perceived
Like we've
pressure.
got all these world-renowned photographers here watching us, judging us. But like Erica said, we noticed that for whatever reason, we're able to perform when we're able to use that pressure, use that energy to get the job done. Okay, and we've realized that action cancels fear. Okay, and so we're learning to harness that nervous energy into the job that we have to do, and realizing that failure is just part of that job.
Yeah. And really, as human beings, we have an incredible capacity to normalize things. So the true magic happens when it just becomes normal, when it becomes part of the process, part of the expected process, basically, to fail. And once we're not afraid of failing, it's like we become unshackled. And there's also so many times where those failures, those so-called failures, have opened up these doorways to creativity or opportunities that we never knew even existed. Um, it's
Yeah, it's like
like
how
we
often have we you know, looked down at the screen and it was
Yeah.
like, oops, oh,
Yeah.
that's kind of cool.
Yeah, but that is still creativity.
Right.
Like, even though we refer to those moments as accidental success, they're quite often with us. Most of our shots are accidental, actually. It's luck, right? But it's still creativity. Creativity comes from mistakes. There's another book on the reading list called Scatterbrain, and it shows how most of life's great discoveries have come from mistakes. So don't be scared of failing. Embrace it as part of the process, and try some stuff that might really suck. And if it makes you feel better, tell your couples that. I do that all the time. We'll be like, guys, do you mind if we spend 5 minutes to try something that might really suck?
For a portrait.
For a portrait, yeah.
Right.
And they're usually like, yeah, sure, go for it.
Yeah,
And
the
then
rest
it
of the
gives
day, yeah, and, outside of portraits, for the rest of the day, we're trying stuff that might really suck all day long. Right?
And usually it does suck. But failure is not fatal. And once we become comfortable with that, the world's the limit. And finally, number 6, shoot the shit out of it. And this seems to be a really hot topic of discussions in some of the photography forums out there. I recommend you completely stay out of the photography forums. Or if you go in there, just go in there for entertainment, which is what I do. I actually went into one where I found them discussing how many frames that we shoot at a wedding, and I pulled out some of my favorite quotes. So if you're photographing more than 15 images on a wedding day, you're doing a disservice to your clients. Culling that amount of work takes way too much time and slows down the delivery process. My assistant and I shoot about 1,200 images on a 10-hour wedding. Of course, I've been doing this for 8 years, so I guess that makes a difference. And then this one's my favorite. A good photographer knows how to get the shot in one capture. If you need to take 20 or 30 frames to get the shot, you should change professions. Hopefully, it's none of you watching this that wrote one of those quotes, but it's very possible. But according to this person, Lanny and I should have changed professions a long time ago, because we do shoot a lot. We probably average 15 to 20,000 frames per wedding.
Between the two of us.
Between the two of us, yes. So, and it's not like we're crime scene photographers and we're just like click, 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 click. We're shooting through moments and through actions. Okay, so we're shooting a lot, but not throughout the entirety of the wedding day. We're shooting a lot for short periods of time, because we don't have control over the small, tiny little variations that turn an image from a good image to a really good image, right? Like the placement of a hand, right? So we're shooting a lot, but we're shooting with deliberate purpose. Okay? Every frame we shoot, provided that we've made it with intention and purpose, is like buying another ticket in that lottery. Right? Getting lucky means taking those chances. Right? Give yourself the chance of capturing that split second when every foreground, background, and midground element line up in a way that you couldn't have even predicted or hoped for. Give yourself the chance of telling multiple stories in one frame. Give yourself that chance of catching something completely unpredictable. We can't make this shit up. We're not that creative. Give yourself the chance of everyone's arms being up in the air and everyone's feet being off the ground at the exact moment your flash fires. That's luck, guys. That's luck, plain and simple, right? That the DJ decided to play Jump Around while Lanny was out here composing this shot. That's the lottery, right? But that Lanny wasn't afraid to shoot 80 or 90 shots trying to get this one. That's buying your ticket, right? That's making your own luck, right? If he'd gone out there and done a couple test shots, if he'd gone out there and even done 30 shots, that would have been hoping for luck. But the fact that he stayed out there the entire song, not afraid to shoot the shit out of it, that's making your own luck. Okay, but the most important reason to shoot a lot, at least in my mind, the most important reason is by focusing on shooting, and improving. Every frame is an improvement over the previous frame. It leaves no room for that voice in our head to come in and pull us out of the moment, right? Because we're so focused on shooting.
Yeah, I find that whenever that voice creeps in,
It's not
it's
when
never
we're
when I'm shooting. It's always when I'm chimping
Yeah.
or thinking or searching. It's like when I'm actually making compositions.
and improving and problem solving and all that stuff. Yeah. That's the most important reason to shoot a lot, is it keeps that brain focused on the task that you're trying to do.